to look very far. You don't need to look at prophecy and so on. What you need to do is understand, you know, there is a noise coming in here. Could we stop that noise? It might be on the tape. I can hear it in here. We need to understand that our actions as human beings are responsible for what we're doing, and that we have supposedly a rational mind, and with that rational mind we can go from A to B to C and understand that it's what we did at A and then at B and then at C that is causing all this devastation, including the wild weather, including volcanoes erupting, including possibly what happened in Haiti. Remember when I told you at one of these lectures that there are many people in Haiti and other people as well who have spoken about there being a buster, sort of like a bunker, an earthquake-making bomb that goes underground and makes earthquake being tested that caused Haiti. It is the actions of humans. It is the actions of humans to put things in situations where the chance of there being some disaster or some very bad turn of events to precarious life is all but inevitable. This is a physical universe. If you go drilling for oil in the Gulf near where all the animals reside, or just in the ocean in general, there are going to be spills. Some are going to be worse than others, and there have been thousands and thousands of spills, many of which we don't hear about. So our rational mind surely is way more limited than what we give ourselves credit for, and typically we're not in advance of what could happen. In a physical universe where physical things will happen, we're always behind the eight ball, so to speak. It's when disaster happens, catastrophe happens, then we're wondering and hustling how to fix it. Now, one of the tragedies, there is some noise here in the background, so if you hear it, I apologize for that. Now, one of the things, well, first I think, most of all, what's happening in the Gulf is coming back to bite us. It hurts us in the long run, and some people will worry about that and not worry about the animals and not worry about seawater and not worry about nature and the sanctity of the ocean. If you are religious, do you think God gave you the ocean to destroy it? And do you think, for example, that Native Americans long ago would have put any amount of poison into the water like we humans are doing now? But let's see, who's going to speak for the animals? Who's going to speak for nature itself, those beautiful grasses, that beautiful aqua blue water? Who's going to speak? And let's have our first picture here, which I see that we do. And this is a picture of a tern, a bird, before he's oiled up, looking, probably a female, of course. Maybe not. Sometimes males take care of the eggs as well. I don't know what terns do. T-E-R-N. Looking over her eggs, protecting them, making sure they're going to be okay, watching them, doing her duty as a creature on God's great earth. Soon to be saturated in oil, breathing the oil. Let's see what happens when that oil comes at you. It goes through your skin. When it's on the feathers, it oils up the feathers, the nostrils. It goes into the lungs. The livers and kidney revolt. They can't take it. The bird licks the oil because they can't move, and they're covered in this. They try to get rid of it. They swallow even more. And then so-called do-gooders, which I take my hat off to them, rush down, and the nerve of one company, Dawn Detergent, running commercials before this spill happened, showing how great Dawn is because they wash the birds with Dawn. Well, let me tell you, the percentage of birds that live after they've been washed is virtually zero, because They've licked the stuff. They've breathed the stuff. It's burned right through them. It's hurting every organ and cell of their body, and they die. And let's think of another conundrum, that when these birds are washed, and many are being washed and released, where are they going to go? Where are thousands of birds going to go? And I don't think thousands will get to be washed. Most are going to just end up dead wherever, carcasses all over the place. Where will they go? This is their land. This is their water. This is their life. This is their air. They will touch down. Anywhere they want to touch down is going to be full of oil anyway. So they're doomed no matter. And you know what? We get to give them a very painful death. I remember Exxon Valdez in 1989. And I used to sing, I feel so bad, I got a terrible mind. Yes, I'm crying all of the time, since we let the animals die at Valdez Bay. Yes, it broke me. You see, you don't need science, you don't need the Bible, you don't need the church, you don't need the mosque. You need your eyes, your ears, and your God-given brain cells to look around and say, whoa, there's a lot of poison around here, and there's a lot of things we're doing that hurt nature. And even if we are so uncivil as to not care about nature and not care about birds, we should at least know that we're hurting ourselves. The smell and effects of that oil can be had right now up to 150 miles away from where it is. And as it gets closer, all the humans will be breathing that air as well. And it will be doing damage to them. Now, what should happen, by the way, that oil rig may well have been blown up by terrorists. Possibility. 2, other human behavior. Of course, don't say we're so good for killing people from drone airplanes in Afghanistan and Waziristan and Iraq and other places, as well as the wars we're running continue to expand. And I'm not trying to keep us aside from this implication and indictment of the human species. But remember Iraq War, the first one, when Saddam Hussein said he would set the Gulf on fire, he would let the oil go, and he did. And it went to Saudi Arabia, and he ruined and killed, just like what is happening in the Gulf of Mexico. So people would, that's a possibility, who knows, that could have happened. You never know. And because there's many ways to get at us with terrorism, you don't have to be putting IEDs on the street, which is also happening and going to happen by common sense. You don't need someone to tell you. All you have to do is be a citizen of the world, pay attention to what is happening. It's your duty, it's your obligation, it's your necessity for your own best human beneficence and actualization and fullness as a being on earth. Now, the company that is responsible for this oil spill is British Petroleum, BP. And for a long time prior to this spill, they were running ads on television. They had that sort of flower-looking green petal circle, and they were promoting that they were so nature-friendly. Lies, more lies, and even more lies. They've had many bad spills, including one not long ago in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, that they didn't report and went pouring oil out into the land for quite a long time before the whole thing became a notification, and then they presumably have had to clean it up. But how well do you clean up oil? And as in Valdez, the cleanup of this is going to take generations, really, in a way. It's never going to be the same. And as in Valdez, the oil is deep in the ground, under the rocks, on the shore, and so on. And there are so many organisms that live in the soil and the rocks deep in